ಹಲೋ, ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸಾರಿ, ಲೇಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು.
ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Good.
ಸೊ ಹೌಸ್ ಯರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್? ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್? ಚೈತ್ರ, ವಿಜಾಜ್
ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ.
ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಏನೋ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಸ್ವಾತಿ, ಪಲ್ಲವಿ, ಮೋನಿಕಾ ನಡೀತಿದ್ಯಾ? ನಿಂದೆಂಗಮ್ಮ? ನಿಂದು ಏನು ನಡೀತಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಒಟ್ಟು ನಡೀತಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಫೈನ್. How to put this question then? Okay. So what are the topics we discussed in last class? What are the topics? Anyone? Okay. GDP.
Income trap.
Huh? Heli?
Income trap. Middle income trap.
Income trap. Okay. Then what are other things?
The ocean acidification.
Ocean acidification. Okay. Then Heli, new Kabir.
ONOS.
OS. Good. Inflation, deflation. Capna idea. Hogli. Disinflation. What is the meaning of deflation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? Huh? What is inflation? Deflation ಅಂದ್ರೆ? Disinflation? Good, fine. What is recession? Recession. ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಕಾನಮಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ನ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Negative growth rate for 2 consecutive quarters.
2 successive quarters. Okay, then what is depression? Okay, deep recession is called as depression. What are the other things we discussed? Other things? ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ನ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅದರದ್ದು?
R&D.
ಸ್ವಾತಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಯ್ಸೇ ಕೆಡ್ಸಲ್ಲ ಕಣಪ್ಪ.
R&D, research and development, IPR.
Development ಅಲ್ಲ. Okay, in India, it is at the very early stage. So we only invest in less than 1% of the GDP in R&D. But when it comes to developed countries, like maybe in Israel also, they invest more than 4% of their GDP. So that is why they are only technologically more advanced, Israel country. Okay, in China also, they invest more than 2% of their GDP. Ready?
Then what about what happens when ocean take of carbon dioxide?
Carbon dioxide. ಓದಿದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ? So I hope you are started with environment. ಓದ್ತಿದ್ರೆ environment ಓದ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಈಗ environment ನ?
Yes, sir.
ಯಾವ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗ? See, I hope by this time ಅಲ್ಲ, I hope all of you complete ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ರು ಒಂಟೆ ಮುಗಿಸಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನ. ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ರನಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್? ಕುಮಾರ್, ಚೈತ್ರ, ಮೋನಿಕಾ, ಪಲ್ಲವಿ, ಶೀಲಾ.
ನಂದು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ನ.
ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್. ಸ್ವಾತಿ, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಒನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅವರನ್ನು?
ಸರ್, ಬಟ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ. See, I'll just take on 10 minutes to explain the concept. Okay, just yesterday ಬರೀ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಚೈತ್ರ ಬೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Okay, fine. See, what is the meaning of this? Okay, fine, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. What is the meaning of ocean acidification ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? pH of the value decreases. Then ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ? Why it happens? See, ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, for every chapter ಅಲ್ವಾ, there are some key keywords you have to remember those keywords. Okay, for global warming ಆಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಓಝೋನ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಓಝೋನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಆಗಲಿ, there are some keywords which you have to remember from the top chapter. That is what I want to teach right now. So because assignment ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So there are few concepts which you have to remember in this chapter. So what are the important concepts you have to remember? One is definition of it. See, this is how you have to make notes also. So some of you are asking how to make notes, how to make short notes, how to make keywords, how to make other things ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. So I am going to discuss that right now. So I'll take only one topic, ocean acidification. Ocean acidification. See, in simple terms, within half a page, you should complete the entire chapter. Okay, na? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಓದು, ಆಗಿರೋರ್ಗೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, but just to try to remember is, okay, take the cue from this. Okay, when you are making notes, This is how this is I got some methodologies from this one. Okay. So one thing is, what is the meaning of this? That means the pH value of the ocean decreases, or H plus ions increases. Correct? This is the one keyword which you have to remember from this. Other things what you have to remember? Oceans absorb more carbon dioxide. Oceans absorb 1/3 of carbon dioxide. 1/3 of carbon dioxide sink in the ocean. Only keywords. I'm not writing entire things. Ocean takes more carbon dioxide. They act as a ocean sink, as a carbon sink. So what else you remember?
Reactions, chemical reactions.
Correct. Chemical reactions, you don't have to remember those things. It is not required to remember those kind of things. Thing what you have to remember is, one thing is carbon dioxide mixing with water. Again, what is happening is, it is leading to increase in what? Bicarbonate ions. Correct? The full over there. This is a summary of it. This is a summary of the reaction. Correct, Alva? It increases the bicarbonate ions, or it at the same time it decreases in the carbonate ions. Correct? If you look at the reaction in this chapter, this is what the meaning of it. This reaction will increase the bicarbonate ions and decreases the carbonate ions, at the same time increase in the H plus ion concentration. Anything else? Anything else in this chapter? Extra idea reaction
ಸ್ಯಾಚುರೇಷನ್ ಹೊರೈಸನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಸರ್, ಅದೊಂದು
ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಈಗ. ಬಟ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತ ಇರೋದು ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? This is what the meaning of reaction. Okay. This, when carbon dioxide is mixing with ocean water, it leads to increase in the bicarbonate ions and decrease in the carbonate ions and increase in the concentration of the H plus ions. This is the 3 terms you have to remember. And one more point you have to remember is calcification process. Calcification. What is the meaning of calcification? Correct, Alva. So marine organisms use the calcium carbonate compounds to build their shells or skeletons. Skeletons build ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು calcium ಗೆ, that is meaning of calcification. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? To build shells, to build skeletons of the organisms, or to build shells. These species require calcium carbonate compounds ಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. Okay. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, for this process we need carbonate ions. ಇದು ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Marine species, for their calcification process, through which they build their skeletons, through which they build their shells and everything, they need carbonate ions. But what's happening here? Because of carbon dioxide mixing with ocean water, these ions concentration is decreasing. Correct, Alva? Artha agtidya? Carbon dioxide mixing with ocean water, it is decreasing the carbonate ions. So this is going to affect this process, Alva. This is going to affect this process. That means only few organisms can build their shells now, because there are less number of carbonate ions. Artha agtidya? Are you getting it? This is a simple concept you have to remember. One is carbonate ions concentration ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. Again, it is going to affect the calcification process, which is going to directly affect the shells and skeletons. ತುಂಬಾ weak ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಅದು right arrives. The shells and skeletons become the weak. Okay, this is the one point. Other thing is, one is saturation horizon. Saturation horizon. ಏನು meaning ಇದದು? ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Saturation horizon. And there is one more term is called as carbonate. I'll take next page. Okay. If this is the ocean, this is the ocean. Okay. There is one layer here and one more layer here. This is called as saturation horizon. Saturation horizon. And this is called as carbonate compensation depth. Okay. And this may be lysocline. Okay. Can you remember these things? See, saturation, this is surface. Okay. Here we have more carbonate ions. Okay. That means it is super saturated. It is super saturated by carbonate ions. Andre, above saturation horizon, there are more number of carbonate ions. That means we see more number of marine species. We see more number of marine species because they can use these carbonate ions. They can build their shells shells, and then skeletons. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Above this, there are more number of carbonate ions. But below this, below this horizon, there are less number of carbonate ions. That is under saturation. Undersaturated by carbonate ions. Carbonate ions. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Above this one, there is more number of carbonate ions. Below this, we have less number of carbonate ions. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, when marine species, when they enter this layer, when they enter below the social horizon, what happens is their shells ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, their shells and skeletons, they start dissolving in the water. Because ಹೇಗಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, because there are less number of carbonate ions. This layer will try to dissolve the shells and skeletons. Start dissolve start ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Above this, there are more number of carbonate ions. Below this, there are less number of carbonate ions. But below this layer, below this carbonate compensation depth, here we have very less carbonate ions. Very less carbonate ions. ತುಂಬಾ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ carbonate ions. That means whenever a species come to this layer, it will lose all its skeleton and shells, everything. All the calcium carbonate compounds will dissolve in this layer. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? So saturation horizon, above which it is saturated by the carbonate ions, super saturation, that is more number of carbonate ions. Below this, it is undersaturated because by carbonate ions. When the marine species enter this layer, there is a dissolution of the shells and skeletons takes place. But when they enter this layer, it will dissolve all the carbonate ions, carbonate component compounds. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? These are the terms you have to remember. Again, lysocline ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, again it starts increasing ಅಂತ. Dissolution starts increasing. Lysocline is a layer where the dissolution starts increasing at a rapid phase. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? So these are the terms which you have to remember. Anything else in that? ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ? Just caps ನೋಡೋಣ, ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತರಲ್ಲಿ. Do you have anything else? One more extra ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, there are forms of CSE ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇದೆ. ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, one is aragonite, one more is calcite. Okay, the calcite is more soluble form, aragonite is less soluble form of calcium carbonate. Correct alva? Observe ಮಾಡಿರೋ book ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, these are two forms of calcium carbonate. One is calcite form, one is aragonite form. Anything else in the book? ಯಾರು ಬೇರೆ book ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ, ಯಾರು book ಓದಿರೋರು? Anything else is there in this topic? ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬೇರೆ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಾ? ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಇದೆಯಾ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್? ಕುಮಾರ್, ಮೋನಿಕಾ, ಪಲ್ಲವಿ, ಸಾತಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ಇದೆಯೇನಪ್ಪ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇಷ್ಟೇ.
ಸ್ವಾತಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ಇದೆಯೇನಪ್ಪ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? Anything you can think of?
No, sir.
Correct ಅಲ್ಲ? So that means there are hardly 10 keywords for every topic. So when you are making notes alva, ocean acidification, one chapter. In a half page, what you have to do is, one is CO2 observe ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Then ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ H+N ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ and pH value ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This is how you have to make notes only. Don't write everything in this one ಅಲ್ಲ. You can remember ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, you can remember ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಎರಡು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. Then we have saturation. Okay, then you have to write something like this: saturation horizon. Then we have carbonate composition depth. This is lysocline. More carbonate ions, more carbonate. ಇಲ್ಲಿ full dissolution ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, full dissolve. What else? Bicarbonate increases, bicarbonate ions increases, carbonate ions decreases, H+ increases. This is going to affect the calcification process. Okay, ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. It is going to affect the what? Shells and skeleton of the marine species. Correct ಅಲ್ಲ? If you want extra, again CaCO3 form. CaCO3, we have two forms: aragonite and calcite. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, what else you have to write in this notes? ಹೇಳಿ. Does it take? Obviously, when they're traveling, how would I know that? How would they know, like, okay, this is coming? ಅದೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. When they travel ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಪ್ಪ ಇದು? ನೋಡಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ within half, only it takes only 5 minutes to write this. Catalas, all of you are complaining ಅಲ್ಲ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. It doesn't take your time. It helps you in revision. ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬುಕ್ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ 1 week again ಮತ್ತೆ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಂತೀರ. Instead of that, if you are taking time, give that time ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. It will help you in revision again and again. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸೊ ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಫಾಲೋ ದಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀರ ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀರ, ಸೊ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್. ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ರಿವೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್, ಮೇ ಬಿ 3 times ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಯು ವಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫೈನ್? ಏನೋ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫೈನ್? ಎನಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್? ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಫೈನ್.
Fine ಅಲ್ಲ? They like try to adopt this. Okay, you can modify as per you can modify as per your plans. Okay, you can modify. It's not like it's the best ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ, but notes taking is very important. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. UPSC ಗೆ notes taking is very very important because it will help you to revise again and again. So if you're planning to ditch that ಅಲ್ಲ, don't ever think about that one. If you think that okay, notes PDF ಸಾಕು ನನಗೆ, ಟಾಪರೇಸ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಸಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಬುಕ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಥರ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್, ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್? Parliament system of government. Executive responsible to whatever presidential form of government. President. Separation of powers. Huh? Do we have separation of powers in India? Judiciary is separate. Is it complete separation idea? Do we have a separation of powers in India? Like strict separation idea? ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನಿದೆ? ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. Then cooperation, coordination, very good. Few keywords. Then what else? We focus on checks and balances, alva. We focus on checks and balances between the different organs. Okay. The parliamentary system is what? Executive is responsible to the legislature. What about judiciary? Executive responsible to judiciary idea? Ilva. Is executive responsible to parliament? Howda? In India, as per constitution. As per constitution, are they responsible to parliament or any other house particularly, or to the whole parliament? Correct ಅಲ್ಲ? ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ, ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ವೇ ವಿ ಸೇಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಬಾಡೀಸ್? ಏನು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ, ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, 3 ಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ 0 ಅವರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ? 0 ಅವರ್, 0 ಅವರ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗಾಗಲೇ ಪಾಲಿಟಿನ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ನಿಮಗೂ ಪಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಆಗಿರೋ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಪ್ಪ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ 0 ಅವರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? 0 ಅವರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರ್ 0 ಅವರ್? ಆಗ್ಲ? ಎನಿವನ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ 0 ಅವರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ? ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ 0 ಅವರು? ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ 0 ಅವರ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟು? ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ? ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಾ? ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್? 0 ಅವರ್, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕೇಳೋ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾಲಿಟಿ. ಈಗ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ 0 ಮೇಲೆ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್? ಯಾರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್? ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರ್ ಅಂಡ್ 0 ಅವರ್, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಶೋರಾ? ವೇರ್ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್? ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು?
ಅದೇ ROP COB ನಲ್ಲಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 0 ಅವರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಎನಿವೇರ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 0 ಅವರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಯಾವುದಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1. The second point is the question hour is mentioned in the rules of procedure book. ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್. ಇದು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್, ಇದು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಜುಗಾಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್ ಇದು. ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಈ ಬಾರ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಓವರ್ ಅಂಡ್ 0 ಓವರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಇದ್ಮೇಲೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ. ಅದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ 8 ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಅನ್ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಪೇಜಸ್, ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಪೇಜಸ್, ಪಿಂಕ್ ಪೇಜಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ ಬರುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬರುತ್ತಪ್ಪ, ಯಾವ ಕಲರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಪೇಜಸ್? ವಿಚ್ ಒನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಡ್, ವಿಚ್ ಕಲರ್ ಪೇಜ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್? ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಡ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅನ್ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಡ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್? ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ ದೆಮ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಭಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳೋ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್, ಸಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ರಿವೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್. ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ. ಕಾಂಟ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ವಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಗೇನ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್. So please change the habit and try to make the notes of the at least keywords right in the notes. Otherwise, it is difficult for you to revise everything again. Like it. Hate speech. What is the meaning of hate speech? Is it mentioned in Constitution? Under which article? Anyone? Hate speech ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. What is hate speech? ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹೇಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲಾಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ idea. 1924 Congress session. What is it? What is the significance of it? Gandhiji president ಆಗಿದ್ದು. It is the only time Gandhiji became the president of the Congress session in 1924. Okay, ಜ್ಞಾಪನೆ ಕೊಡೋ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ what are the provisions happened, what are the outcomes of that meeting. Okay, what is the meaning of Indo-Pacific ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? Indo-Pacific is growing strategic importance and the center of gravity of the world economic growth. What is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of Indo-Pacific ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? Region. What is the region? Okay.
The Indian Ocean ಮತ್ತು Pacific Ocean.
What is the importance of it now? Indo-Pacific. What is the importance? Wherever you observe, the Indo-Pacific comes into picture right now in the geopolitical world order, in terms of economy also, in terms of the superpowers also. The major next hub will come from the Indo-Pacific region only. So what is the meaning of it? ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಡಿ, ಪ್ಯಾಸೇಜ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಥರ ಕಾಣ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ, ತುಂಬ ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಸೇಜ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಓಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಓಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ದಿಸ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಂಡೋ ಪ್ಯಾಸಿಫಿಕ್ ರೀಜನ್. Okay, na? So this part becomes Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean. Okay, this whole part is called as Indo-Pacific. That means we have India here also, upcoming superpower. Again, we have got China, superpowers. See, again, if you come up till birth, again, I'm just saying it as then one more line comes like this. What is it line called as? Gap area, which covers the north part, sorry, south part. Gap area, global north and global south. What is that line? Gap area. Brunt line. ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ? ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ? Brunt line, which separates global north from global south. ಈ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಕೇಳಿರೋದನ್ನ? global south ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ global south countries ಏನದು? Okay, developing and underdeveloped countries where the former colonies, they are the global south, and it's a brunt line, and it's a global north and global south. Okay, there's one more term you get in news is something else, Eurasia ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. Eurasia ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ? Eurasia ಅಂದ್ರೆ? Okay, that means Europe and Asia. Again, comes this part, entire part ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿ this whole part, Indian part ಆಗಿ again Asia and Europe ಎಲ್ಲ full cover ಆಗಿದೆ. That is the meaning of Eurasia. A term gap ni kuda ashte. Somewhere they ask, okay, Eurasia, Indo-Pacific region, and the global north and global south. Why it is important? Why this part, Indo-Pacific part, is important? Enike. That means, right? Okay, developing. Okay, then ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು?
Chinese domination check ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ.
Okay, one is Chinese domination ಇದೆ. Okay, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು competition to superpowers, because we have upcoming superpowers, India and China is there. What else? See, earlier the Western countries used to call as Asia Pacific. Earlier, if they want to refer anything like this, they used to refer Asia Pacific. But right now, what they do is they refer this region as Indo-Pacific. That means India centered up. In USA refer when they want to refer this Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean part, they refer it as Indo-Pacific because it is the India-centered approach. Earlier they used to say it as Asia Pacific. Okay, that is the one point. Okay, Indo-Pacific, that means India-centered approach for the Western world. That means because to counter China, India is the only option. India is the only upcoming superpower that can counter China in terms of ideology also, in terms of population level also, in terms of military also. They know that in this region, India is the only ally for them. So they change their approach to the Asia Pacific to Indo-Pacific. India-centered approach. That's the point number 2. Okay, one more thing is economic, more of economic activity. Correct, we have second largest economy in the world, China. Again, we have the fifth largest economy here. India fifth largest economy in terms of GDP. It is the fifth largest economy. Again, we have the second largest economy in the world. Again, when they have to trade, they have to do it. They come from this India, South China Sea. Again, they come here, come to Indian Ocean. Again, they go to this. There is the Eurasian part. That means in this region, there is a more of economic activity happens. Okay, ship lanes agli, or internet cables agli. There are more things. So this reason becomes very, very important. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? So I'll repeat again, global north, global south, that brunt line which separates the global north from the global south. Global south countries, they are the former colonies and they are developing and less developed countries. When it comes to global north, there are the colonial powers and they are more developed countries. Okay, that's the one point, number one. The second point is earlier the Western countries used to refer this region, Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean, as Asia Pacific Antidoru, but right now they changed it to Indo-Pacific. That means India-centered approach for this region, because they know that to counter China, India is the only option for them in terms of the ideology, in terms of population, everything. Okay, it is the only option for them. It is the only ally for them. Okay, to counter China's assertiveness in this region. Then again, there are more of economic activities which are happening in this region, because of we have the second largest economy there, we have the fifth largest economy in the world. Again, similarly, what it still okay. Okay. Again, economic activities. This is the point number 3. Okay. Again, we have to develop these points. Again, if we get articles, again we'll add 2 more points to that. Okay, this is the one thing you have to remember. Again, Eurasia part of the Asia plus Europe. Okay, that is called as Eurasia ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay, this is the basics of it. Okay, you can observe this one. One more point you can write. Indo-Pacific region has the second largest exclusive economic zone. What is the meaning of EEZ? Exclusive economic zone. How many nautical miles?
200.
200 nautical miles. Gap idea from our territory, it is 12 nautical miles for territorial waters. Territorial waters. Again, from here to 12, it is called as contiguous zone. From here to 200 nautical miles, it is called as exclusive economic zone. It is as per the own clause. United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. Gap convention ತುಂಬಾ important ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then what is the meaning of nautical mile? One nautical mile is equal to how many kilometers? Simple question, but they may ask. We never know about KPS. What is one nautical miles is equal to kilometers? ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? How many kilometers? ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? We never think about these kind of silly things. Okay, even myself included in that one also, but I'm not an exception. Even we don't think. ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? It is 1.852 ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ. 1.852 kilometers. One nautical miles is equal to 1.852 kilometers. 852 ಅಲ್ಲ? 1.852 kilometers. 1 nautical miles is equal. Okay, then so December 3 is an International Day for person with disabilities. What are the importance of them? What are the importance we learn from these people, the people with the special needs? ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ? What are the things we can learn from the people with special needs? Person with disabilities or Divyangjans, beyond their capabilities. Okay, ಮತ್ತೆ what are the things we learn from them? What are the things we can learn? Are they efficient like us? Then efficiency ಇರ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ. See, I'm saying about other people alva. Maybe someone who cannot see, someone who cannot hear, someone who cannot walk, or someone who has disability, the mental thing. Like, what do you think about them? What are the things we can learn from them? Why do you have to focus on them, first of all? Why do you have to spend money on those people who are not such kind of efficiency? I'm not nanidella. Again, I will change their opinions. First, their opinion ikon. Let's think that their efficiency illa anta ankonda for starting, but then we can change our opinions later. Okay, this is how you have to write essays also. When write essay ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ first you agree with the concept. Essay ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ you agree with that concept. Okay, ನಾನು agree ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ examiner. After writing one 6 paragraph, then you question your view. Am I going the right direction? Again, you will change your view. Again, you shift to other view. That is how we have to happen. Here also we think that let us assume that the person with disabilities, they are efficiency illa ankoಣ. Then why do you have to focus on them? Why do you have to protect them? ಏನಕ್ಕೆ? ಯಾರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್? Why do you have to focus on this? ಹೇಳಿ.
Sir, to give equal opportunity in all the aspects alva sir ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ.
One thing is Constitution says. Okay. Other than that, Constitution ಬಿಟ್ಟಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ do you know about Stephen Hawking? ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ what are other points you can think of? What can you learn from them? ಏನು ಕಲಿಬೋದು ಅವರಿಂದ? See, I'll say my personal experience. Once the student was studying in upper IAS only. Her name was Bhavya anta. Because we were in online ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಾವು ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ನಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ನಮ್ದು. So 2019-2020 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳೋರು ಸರ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ನಮಗೆ. There was one girl was named Bhavya ಅಂತ. ಸರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಹತ್ರ. Even nanu question ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು, I used to answer 90% time answer ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, but 10% times I never used to get the answers. But that girl, she never missed an answer. I was little bit jealous ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಗೋದು, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಂಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. But obviously we never saw anyone. Okay, 1 year ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಬಟ್ we never saw anyone. ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಏನಂತ. Once ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ again I come to the class, then I saw the girl ಭವ್ಯ, but she was a visually challenged person. ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಭವ್ಯ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ? ಹಾ, ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ? ಸೊ ಶಿ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ವಿಜುವಲಿ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಶಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಿ. ಸೊ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಎ ವಿಜುವಲಿ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಶಿ ವಾಸ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು clear the FDA exam, and she was, I think she was preparing for UPSC also. I don't know what happened, I am not aware of it, but being that person, she was to answer questions like anything. At the same time, her views also very different. That means they are also efficient. Okay, but we are not recognizing the test. ಲೆಟಸ್ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಾಳೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ತರ ನಾಳೆ ಏನೋ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಲೂಸ್ ದರ್ ಐಸ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ನಾವು, ಬಟ್ ಟುಮಾರೋ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ನೆವರ್ ನೋ ಅಲ್ವಾ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ನೆವರ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಕಂಬರ್ತಾ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು. ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬಂತು, ಇಟ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ದಿ ಹೋಲ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಬಟ್ ಟುಮಾರೋ ಲೆಟಸ್ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಒನ್ ವೈರಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ಅವರ್ ಐಸ್ ಅನ್ಕೋಣ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಣ್ಣೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ. ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಲೀವ್? ಆವತ್ತ ನಮ್ ಬದುಕಾಗೋದ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಲಿ? ಆಗಲ್ಲ ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಲರ್ನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಮ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. So we can learn from those persons who are living their life in the dark. So we can learn from them alone. So there are a lot of things we can learn from them. We can get a new perspective for the world. Heli?
And they're having more confidence.
Yes, they have more self-confidence. See, they are aware of their things. They are aware of their vulnerabilities. They are aware of their limitations. But if you observe, the person who cannot see, his senses will be very strong. ಅದರ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಲೈಕ್ ಲಿಸ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್.
And also patience. Patience.
Yes, lot of patience ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So again, they have some urge to do something. So these are the things we can learn from them. That means it will give a new perspective for us. It will give a new perspective to see the world. Even though the person cannot see the world physically, ಕಾಣಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು, he has a different perspective about the world. So those things are very helpful for our society. We need those societies. We need those principles. We need those values. We need those people in our society. They make a better place. They make the world a better place for them. Okay, but what are the problems they face in India? Or in generally, what are the problems they face? PWD. See, article ಇದೆ ಹೌದು. Article ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Again, these kind of discussion ಅಲ್ಲ, it generate more points. What do you think? What are the problems they face?
Discrimination in the society based upon disability.
Social prejudices. Again, what else? You divide na problem into divide ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲ್ ಏನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಜಾಬ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ what about the education? Come from the beginning itself only, na? From the birth only. Okay, what happens in their family? They face discrimination. They face discrimination in the college. Again, they go to the school. Again, they face discrimination there. Again, coming, they don't get the materials to study properly. If the person is blind, he has to give some better materials. They have different materials they want. At the same time, they want the different technology to be taught. Okay, we can't teach them like this alone. They need a special equipments for them, for us to teach them. Adiranilla ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ. ಮತ್ತೆ what else other things?
ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಸರ್, ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್
ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, they cannot, ಅದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, we lack teachers to train. Okay, ಅವ್ರು ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಅದೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟು anything else? Any other initiatives by the government? ನಿಂಗೆ ಯಾರು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Any initiatives by the government?
Also, most scenarios, the moment the family knows that the child is disabled, they will abandon the child. They will not be willing to accept the child.
It also happens. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
But they need a community powers, like need a supporting from the family, friends, and also from the.
So society, we have to come together to help them. See, one more point ಅಲ್ಲ, when we are helping someone, it's not a charity ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. So that is what question ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಎಸೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ನಾನು ಎಸೆ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ 2023 ಎಸೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಎಸೆ ಇದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಚಾರಿಟಿ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಚಾರಿಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಸಿ ವೆನ್ ಆರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಂಗ್ ಸಮನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಚಾರಿಟಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ವೆನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ USA or UK or France, when they are giving funds to developing countries, example Africa and corn, do you think they are helping them because of humanity? Do you ever think that? Because if something if some diseases comes here, if some disease originate here and it can reach here also, no? So whatever the funds they are giving, it's not a charity. Help is never a charity. Help is you should not think it as a charity for now. Because they need it fund or they're demanding it or demand it. Or charity help it's not a charity. Okay, there is a thing you have to remember. Similarly for this one people also. People we should not think it as a help and now. At a charity and okay, we get some benefit from them also. Okay, those things we have to think. So okay, these things are okay. What are the issues there is one act. So person with disabilities. Okay, as per our census, there are around 2.21% of the total population. They constitute only 2% of the population. But then but census reflect then there is one act called as this one. Right, so Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016, which we passed by the Parliament regarding it gives rights to the person with disabilities. Okay, and one more convention is there, UN Convention on Rights of PWD, person with disabilities. Okay, see, obviously we have to make notes of when you are making notes, you make sure that you make the notes as per SC ST separate 2 pages notes. So again for women again separate 3 pages notes. So again for tribals again for PWD. So you have to make notes separately for every vulnerable sections. So whenever you get some points, you have to write here. Again, they consider on 2.2% of the population. Again, there is United Nations Convention Act. Again, rights of act on the act. So you have to write all related to the PWD in one page. So you can revise it later. So here so that act prakara rights of person with disabilities. As per this act, there should be a commissioner on the state. There should be a commissioner to handle this. There should be a state commissioner to handle this kind of issues of the PWDs or handle. So under this act, it provides for the state commissioners to handle the issues of the person with disabilities in every state or set up. But majority states have not done this. Only around 11 states they have state commissioners to handle these issues. But majority state they did not constitute this body, which was given by under this act. Okay, there is the essence of the article. So what they are saying is we have to constitute this body in every state to handle the issues of the person with disabilities. Okay, one case study and they have given Karnataka case study. In Karnataka, we have this commissioner body to handle the issues of the PWDs. Okay, one thing. 1.0 in Karnataka, we are setting up set up ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ and it is also working fine. And the second thing is we have mobile codes in Karnataka only, which is handling the issues of PWDs. This is the essence of the article. So so whole articles can be combined to only couple of points. So don't try to make notes bulky for your current affairs. Okay, try to add few points. Other when you get these points, at least maximum 2 to 3 points in the article. So try to understand that one. So again, observe Madi. As per this act, there should be a state commissioner, but there is a lax attitude in the states where they did not set up the state commissioner post. Okay, so Madilla again. Example of Karnataka. There is a chief commissioner for disabilities to build the capacity. Okay. One more thing. Then one more point is we can read about this one. Okay, mobile adalats or mobile courts. Okay, Commissioner Office, good practices to emulate reaching out the person with disability through the mobile adalats or mobile courts. Okay, these are the important thing we have to study about this one. And there is one more part you can write about this one. To maximize the effectiveness of this critical role, the district disability management review. In Karnataka, it happens. District disability management review. So those points you can write in your notes. Mobile adalats, commissioner with for disabilities. Again, this act. Again, percentage of the PWDs in India as per the census. Okay, and why there are the lack of state commissioners, even though that act provides for the provision. Okay, these are the things which you can think of regarding this. Okay, that's fine. Then frontline nutrition workers to post disability. See, this is regarding nutrition and disability link. How they are linked? Nutrition and disability link ಆಗಿದೆ ಎರಡೂನು ಯಾವ ತರ correct ಅಲ್ಲ. So without nutrition we get so many diseases also, especially during the pregnancy time. Correct ಅಲ್ಲ. If the caring is not taken ಅಂದ್ರೆ again the birth of child it become difficult and it may face problems also. This is what the doctor talks about. ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದೇನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ these articles ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ there is no concept to discuss in these articles. There are only few points ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಿಮಗೆ two couple of points ಇರುತ್ತೆ, just try to write them. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ತೀರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ. ದಿವಸ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ರು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ. ಪೂಜಾ ಓದಿರಪ್ಪ ಇವತ್ತು? ಕಾವ್ಯ, ರಾಹುಲ್ ಓದ್ತೀನಮ್ಮ? ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡಿ ಯಾರು ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ನಂಬ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. If you are testing and if you are lying, it is a lie for yourself. It is not for lying. Okay. Okay, Pragati system. Work on this one. What is the meaning of Pragati system? Fast tracking of projects. Andre ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದು ಅಂತ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂಡರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಏನಿದೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಬೇಡ. ಓಕೆ ನೋಡಿ. Government scraps windfall tax on domestic crude oil consumption. What is the meaning of windfall tax? Yapne diya karo no? Anyone who remember windfall tax? Economic.
ತುಂಬಾ ಗೇನ್ಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ
ಕಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ಮೇಲೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ which one? Upon which sector they impose the windfall tax? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. See, suddenly if some companies get profits suddenly because of some reasons, if they get huge profits alva, then they impose windfall tax. Windfall tax when the company or anything which earn huge profits because of some reasons. Example on the crude oil refineries. What happened ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ರಷ್ಯಾ ಯುಕ್ರೇನ್ ವಾರ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? Because of Russia Ukraine war, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, because Russia Ukraine war ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ದೇ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ದ US oil export. Okay, so but India got the cheap oil from Russia. We imported cheap crude oil from Russia. So because of cheap oil, the crude industries, crude oil industries, refineries, they earn more profit because of cheap crude oil processing. So government imposed the windfall tax on this crude oil refinery companies. So whenever the companies get huge profits because of some unknown reason or because of some reasons, they impose windfall tax. Example is they impose on the refineries. Okay, because they imported cheap oil, Russian oil. Okay, again they earn the more profits. This is the meaning of windfall tax. So question ಕೇಳ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ, keywords very very important. That to need new word ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎಕಾನಮಿಗೆ. So they may ask the question because it was in news. ತುಂಬಾ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಯ್ತದು. Again, this one nation, one subscription model. Just remember what is the date it on the gap ಕೊಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Okay, this is it. Any doubts? ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ? ಸಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಫೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ನೋ. ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಈ ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಾಧ್ಯ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ನ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಗೈಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ ತಕ್ಕ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬೇಕಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನೀವು ಟೈಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬೇಡ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಹೇಳಿ. ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 2 minutes ಬರೆಯೋದನ್ನ. 2 minutes 3 minutes ಹಾರ್ಡ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. 1/2 page ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೋದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಡೇ.
ಗುಡ್.